First of all, welcome to Homestead-Miami Speedway for Ford Championship Weekend. We're going to crown 3 National Series champions and the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and finish up Sunday with the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. So joining us now is a young man who has had a terrific season. He is on the verge of claiming his first NASCAR National Series championship in the Xfinity Series, and that's Chris Buescher. And Chris, congratulations on the season you've had to date. There's still some work to be done, and just talk about your thoughts as you come to Homestead-Miami and what you want to try to accomplish over the next couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really good season for us. Been really proud of the work that the guys have put in to get to this point. It's what we're planning on doing at the beginning of the season. We were hoping to be in this position, but like you said, it's not over. We got Homestead left here. It was a really good track for us last year. We ended up finishing, I believe it was 5th here. One of my favorite mile-and-a-half tracks. I like short tracks are mostly my favorite, but this. It's probably my favorite of the bigger tracks. The asphalt's worn out. You can move around a lot. It makes for a good race, in my opinion. I have a lot of fun racing here. I think a lot of people do. So it makes it a good finale for us. Our guys have been working really hard to make sure we got something to come out here and get another top 5 with this weekend. I'm looking forward to getting going here. I've had a blast this year. It's been a lot of fun. We've got a couple wins and been in position to get a handful more, and we're just got to close it out at this point.
We'll take questions for Chris Buescher. If you have one, raise your hand. We have 2 mic runners, Kelly and Andrew. We'll start right there with my man Kyle.
Kyle Bagger, Race Chaser Online. Chris, I know I asked you this in Charlotte back in May. I'm going to ask it again. I mean, did you ever think you'd get to this point, this point of the season, coming as the points leader in here in Homestead?
After the end of last year, I knew we were capable of getting to this point. We had a great run at the last 10 races. It was really good momentum, and I knew that if we could build on that coming into this year, that we would definitely be in contention for this. And we did just that. We fired off really well this year. We've had great consistency throughout the year. Like I said, been in contention to win a lot of races, and it's exactly what I knew that we were capable of doing and just had to execute, and we've done that. So yes, I expected to be somewhere near this situation, and the guys have done a great job to make sure we haven't had any mechanical failure or anything on the way, and we've stayed out of trouble up to this point. So knock on wood, we're doing all right at the moment.
I got a follow-up for you. I know NASCAR's been discussing about possible chase format in the Xfinity Series. What are your thoughts on that? You think it would either help or hurt the series? I mean, what's your view on that?
So I don't know how far along that is, but I have mixed thoughts on it. From one side, I look at what it has done for the Cup Series and the excitement, the drama, the coverage that it has brought to that series at the end of the year. The last 10 races, everybody talks about Daytona, the season opener. That's the big one. That's when everybody gets the most coverage. We really announce ourselves being at the beginning of our season. And when you look at these last 10 races and what the chase has done for it, I think it has made it something that people will tune in to watch and really pay attention to. So from that aspect, I think it would be really good for our series. I know there's a lot of different rules in there that say what it would do with guys coming down from the Cup Series, how the elimination rounds would work, if it would be the same or a little different. And on the other side of it, this is the series, the point standings that we have now is how we grew up. It's how all the guys in the garage grew up, even on the Cup side. I mean, this is what they're used to. You raced every weekend and did as much as you could do every weekend to make sure that when you got to the end of the year, you were where you needed to be. And I think from that side of it, it makes a full season more important. It makes putting together the whole package a little bit more important. But I understand that the chase was done to capitalize on wins and really make sure that everybody was racing as competitive as possible towards the end.
Let's go right next door to the gentleman right there from Albuquerque. Let's hear from him, and then we'll go over to Mark Garrow and then Chris Knight.
Hi, this is Joel Arquente, ESPN Albuquerque. You ran some races for Front Row Motorsports this year in the Cup Series. Do you have any plans to run for Front Row next year in the Cup Series?
So we don't have anything planned for next year. I did get to run, I think it was 6 races what it ended up being, and I had a blast doing it. It was an awesome bunch of guys over there. Had a lot of fun. Learned a lot as well, and realized real quickly how busy double duty could get for a weekend and running back and forth between the garages. So made me give a lot more respect to the guys that do it every weekend and are constantly running, because when you get out of the car, I remember Fontana was the first one, and you get out of the car and there was 5 minutes between an Xfinity practice and a Cup practice, and the garages seemed like they were a mile away there. It was a busy weekend. I was wore out by the end of it, but there's no plans to do it next year. What I got out of it this year was invaluable though.
Thanks.
Let's go over to Mark Garrow. Raise your hand there, Mark. And then we'll go to Chris, and then we'll go to my man from Easton.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Chris, 2 questions. Number one, are you thinking with a lead of 18 points, more defense or more offense? And I'm also curious how you're handling, the pressure cooker that this is for the first time.
If I told you there was no pressure, I'd be lying to you. We're handling it as best as we know how. I think I'm a pretty laid back person, pretty calm, and I can handle that part of it. Scott's the same way. I mean, he's very calm. We've been able to get places because of that during weekends where something doesn't go exactly right. There's no blow up. There's nothing that's gonna turn a bad weekend into a catastrophic one. So that's been a huge part of our success this year. So I feel like the pressure we can handle at this point. I mean, we want to be here. I mean, it's not by accident. It's not something that we just backed into. We've earned the right to be here. And going on to your next question, in a way, we've earned the right to be a little bit more defensive this weekend. We've worked hard enough this season, and we've done better than anybody else to get to this point. So we can go out here and we can race to make sure that we don't put ourselves in a bad position. That being said, we're not coming here to finish 13th, I think, is the lockup spot. We're not coming here to just aim for that. We're coming here to run like we did last year and get a top 5 out of this thing. And if we can do that, obviously the points will fall wherever they will, and we'll be just fine. So it's still a race weekend. We're still coming out here to get our Fastenal Ford up to the front and have a good day. I felt like this was a race last year that was probably one of our better 3 or 4 races of the year. And if we can be anything like that this year, we'll be in really good shape and might actually get another win out of this season.
Let's go to Chris Knight, go to my man from Easton, and then to Lewis.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Chris, during your teleconference this week, sound like you were a little less optimistic about sponsorship for 2016. Just wondering if you could elaborate on that.
I don't think I'm optimistic about it. I feel like we will have something come to. I just don't have anything right now. We don't have everything planned out at the moment, so it'll be a couple weeks, I'm sure, before we get everything lined up and get a little bit closer. Not that I'm worried about it. I just we got a job to do at hand right now, and we're gonna take care of that first, and then we'll be able to see what we can get for next year. But I feel pretty confident that the guys back at the shop are doing everything they can to get sponsors on board and to try and put together a 2016 season, wherever that may be.
Right over there to your left shoulder there, my man from Easton. And we got Lewis. And then we'll come back over here. Did you have a question from upstate New York? Okay, we'll go to Dwight. Go ahead.
Back to answer already, fun stretch. Roush Fenway's a really big team, a lot of big connections. Have you reached out to guys like Ricky Stenhouse or Carl Edwards who have won championships with Roush? Have you reached out to them for any advice when it comes to racing in such pressure-packed situations?
Have talked to Ricky quite a bit, just talking about this weekend, and obviously he's been in this situation twice in this series, and he's come out on top twice. I guess he's been probably been in contention more than that, but he said that he was behind 1 year and he was ahead 1 year, and he gave me the different scenarios and how they were able to accomplish the seasons, and how they were able to pull it off. I know that Scott has talked to Mike Kelly as well, talked to Mike a little bit, just trying to figure out what they did to make it all work. And Mike's actually the one that said, y'all have earned the right to do what you need to do this weekend. You don't have to go win the race. You've earned the right to be where you are, and y'all have worked hard to get to that point, so y'all can go out and do whatever you need to do to wrap up that championship and think big picture. So got a lot of advice from them, and I think that's going to help a lot this weekend.
Let's go to Lewis, and then back over here to Dwight. Lewis is right to your left there. Go ahead.
Louis Frank Reuters. You kind of touched upon this. To quote Yogi Berra, it ain't over till it's over. What do you do when you're not on the track to keep mentally balanced? Your team, your crew chief. What do you do? Field games?
We do we do a lot of meetings during the week to try and figure out what we're going to do for the next one. Obviously our debrief meetings on Monday, and we'll come in and try and figure out what we did here last year, what we've done at different tracks this year that have worked well for us, and what we can apply. We've watched old race tape. We're just trying to do everything we can to focus on the weekend and make sure that we do as well as possible. And I think all that helps, and it's no different than what we do every weekend. I mean, it's not like we've changed what we've done now. Now we've gotten to the end. This is what's gotten us to this point, is working as hard as we have. So it's going to be really important to make sure that we stay focused all weekend and pull this thing off. Beyond all the meetings at shop, I've been doing a little bit of yard work, just trying to relax a little bit and not worry too much about it. Just trying to get it all in line and wrap this thing up. And the pressure and the stress and everything involved, I'll feel much better once this weekend is over.
Let's go to far right, Chris, over here to Dwight.
Dwight Drum, RaceTape.com. Chris, as far as like on a teleconference the other day, there's so many young guys up there that are chasing you. You're a young guy. Talk a little bit about your advice for young people about success, and do you think there's a youth movement in the Xfinity Series right now?
Yeah, I think it's a great bunch of drivers in our series right now. There's a ton of competition. During the teleconference, I thought it was funny. Somebody asked Chase what his advice would be for me, and he's like, I got nothing for him. I mean, we're chasing him. We're not gonna give it away. And that's the answer I expected. So I'm not faulting for that at all. But we have very good drivers in the series right now. It's been very competitive over the last several years, and it's a lot of guys that I've raced with since Legends Car days. I've run with Ty since he was at Legends Cars. Arco with Ty and Chase, and a lot of others through the field as well. So. It's a bunch that have been around for a long time, and I remember being 12, 13 years old with the same bunch and just trying to get to this point. And a lot of us have been really fortunate and lucky and worked hard to get to this point. And, we're able to put on the same shows here as we were back then. So it's a nice sense of accomplishment to get as many as we have up to this point. And, I think it's going to show years to come. We're starting to see a handful of guys getting out of the sport that have been in it a long time. I remember watching Jeff and Tony when I wasn't even old enough to be at a racetrack. I was sitting at home on the couch watching on Sundays. So it's cool to have the depth in the field that we do to be able to fill in those gaps as they come up.
Kelly, did you have a question? Let's take Kelly Crandall.
Kelly Crandall from PopularSpeed.com. Chris, I'm curious how you've changed your approach to racing this year, because last year after you missed Daytona and had some bad luck after that, you admitted that since you weren't points racing, you guys just focused on winning and you were running races differently because of that. So this year, competing for the championship right off the bat, how have you changed the way you race this year?
We did not change anything until probably about 10 to go. We raced all of the first two-thirds of the season trying to get all we could get every weekend. And when we realized that it had worked to the point where we've got ourselves in a very good position coming down to the last handful, we've had to change a little bit. We haven't taken the unnecessary chances. I think you go back to Bristol, having a little hiccup in the fuel just before on a green-white checker. I mean, that was a risk at the time, and it almost paid off really well, but it did not. And luckily, we were able to finish it off and come home with a 10th, and that was kind of, a an eye opener for us. We realized that we had to be a little bit careful as we came down into this final stretch to make sure that we were going to be there at the end. So from that regard, we're trying not to be 4 wide on some of these restarts. I know that's been some of the craziest times during any of our races in the last couple of years, and trying to make sure that we're not speeding on pit road. I got caught at Kansas, I believe, and realized how far back that set us. And so I've tried to make sure that I'm a little bit on the conservative side. And 50 RPM, the length of the pit road isn't going to be much. You're not gonna lose big time there. So it's an easy way to be conservative without just backing way off. Just small things like that are going to help us as we come down to the end.
Anybody else have a question for Chris Buescher? Chris, thank you so much for coming in and visiting with us. We wish you all the best this weekend. And again, great season so far. Keep it up.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hopefully, get to come talk to you after this race.
Okay. Always a good sign. Thank you, Chris.